Hi, and welcome to British Dad Reacts. My name is John, and thank you so much for watching. And if you have any requests or like this kind of content, then, well, do the usual. In London, right at the back end of the 1970s and then into the early 80s, there was a new scene evolving, mainly around a couple of clubs, Blitz and Billy's in London. That scene was the New Romantics. And it was a new kind of post-punk era, shall we say, and aesthetic. This band were one of the doyens of that era. Okay, it's Spandau Ballet. The song is To Cut a Long Story Short. It was their debut single in 1980. This is them appearing on Italian television, I think in early 1981. Strange kind of costumes and that kind of thing. But yeah, a completely different look around the kind of New Romantics. And a different kind of dance music.
Sitting on a park bench, years away from fighting. To cut a long story short, I lost my mind.
This track, with a real catchy riff, the keyboard as you can hear, and the kind of the bass line, is just kind of emblematic of that kind of music. And you can imagine these small clubs in London with people all kind of dressed up. Lots of men in kind of makeup, hair done, strange outfits. It was a real kind of reversal of the punk ethos. And a lot of people who went to these clubs were inspired by some of the glam rockers like Mark Bolan from T-Rex, like Bowie, and expressing a different side of them. Spandau Ballet were formed in London in 1979, and they were going to clubs like the Blitz and Billy's with this kind of, flamboyant new romantic scene that was emerging. The singer Tony Hadley has an incredible voice, and the Kemp brothers on keyboard and one on guitar were also to the front of this band in terms of putting the music together and writing the lyrics. The name of the band, interestingly, came from another person who was around at that kind of new romantic scene, became a journalist in the end, Robert Elms. He had a weekend in Berlin, and he saw a phrase about Hess and Spandau and just thought that Spandau Ballet was a great name, and they adopted it. So this song was from 1980, which is 44 years ago. It still sounds great to me. They didn't really achieve true international success until about 1983, I think, when the album True was released. The band, over many years, were very, very successful, but then they had some rifts between them and split and various things. But they did a sort of 40th anniversary of this, of their kind of start in 2009, and they came back together. And I want to show a clip from that gig because they opened the gig with this song, which was their debut single. You can see the crowd go crazy. You can hear them in this clip. And I guess that kind of revivalist movement of some of the great music of the 80s and that electronic sound and Spandau Ballet being forerunners in that era are still celebrated. And the music still sounds great. And as a debut single, this is just a fantastic track. Now, in the description, I've put, obviously, the link to their appearance on Italian TV. This clip from the kind of reunion tour celebrating 40 years of the band in 2009. I've also put a link to a long documentary about the new romantic movement and the clubs they used to go to, the people who were involved, people like Rusty Egan, Steve Strange, Boy George was around at that time. There were so many who kind of came forward musically from that period. It was a great time, and the music was great. And it was great to dance to, and great to listen to. Thank you so much for watching.